This is it, ladies and gentlemen, the big one, UFC Vegas 91, and these are my picks for every single fight on this truly god-awful UFC card. No joke, on paper, name value, rankings-wise, prospects, title contention, this might be legitimately one of the worst UFC events they have ever put out in all time. This is a true UFC 300 hangover. In an era where the pay-per-views are just absolutely banging, you are going to get cards like this. So, how can you make this card in any way exciting? Number one, the UFC did a great job by not giving us any fights at all last weekend, so we're all craving at least something. And that's truly what this card is. At least something. UFC Vegas 91. We should be calling it UFC Vegas, you're fired. The losers go home immediately. Whoever loses a fight on this card, you're immediately cut. This is a roster clearing out fight night. So let's get right into it as I break down every single fight on this card. At least we're starting off with a lightweight fight, thank God, okay? So at least there's a chance for that to be fun. It's Mahachete versus Gabriel, I can't beat a 40-year-old Jim Miller Benitez. Okay, now, Mahachete is coming off 2 losses in a row, but don't worry, that's going to be very normal for a card like this. This is just a real premium sort of a fight. I'm going to be betting, I'm not betting, but I'm going to be backing, I'm going to be picking Mahachete. He's 24. He's on a 2-fight skid. If he has any semblance of testosterone in him, he should be fighting for his future against a 35-year-old Benitez, okay? If he wants to feed his family and be a professional fighter, he needs to win this fight. So Mahachete should be coming out there absolutely looking to knock off Gabriel Benitez's head. He should be looking to win this fight in any way that he can, and I'm going to be picking that he does. I just do not see how you could have the odds stacked against you that much in life and choose to not go ahead and try and win a fight. So, we're going with Mahachete. Okay, on to the next fight as I cover every single fight on this card. Dontel Mays versus Chia Machado. Both fighters coming off a loss. Heavyweight. Both fighters coming off a loss at heavyweight. And look at their rigs. They're naturally meant to be light heavyweights. Mayhaps I even say middleweights. This is going to be an absolute dog shit fight. 2 overweight athletes who, if they don't get each other out of there in the first round, it's going to be a long fight. So Dontel Mays versus Machado. I'm going to pick Machado to be a little bit more well-rounded, okay? The more tools you have to win a fight, the higher your chances of winning said fight. But, yeah, there's not really much to look forward to in this fight. Maybe in future videos, I am also not going to be counting fat heavyweights as real fights either. So anyway, on to the next fight. Finally, again, there's going to be some lightweights, okay? This might actually be a fun fight, all right? Now, I know both people coming off a loss. Austin Hubbard versus Mikhail Figlak, okay? And Figlak is back after a 2-year break, okay? I'm picking Austin Hubbard. I'm picking Austin Hubbard here. You can't take off that much time, even as a regional fighter. You cannot take off that much time not keeping the body active and then just come back into the UFC. Not saying that Austin is some epic UFC level fighter, but at this point, when you're looking at cards like UFC Vegas 91 with levels of fighters like this, you just sort of need a reason to pick someone. So it's going to be Austin Hubbard, purely based on activity. I guessed right. Next fight, bantamweight. Neither fight coming off a win. Jesus. Oh, fuck. It's going to be Victor Henry versus Merab Dvalishvili. Right now, Victor Henry, he's going to come in swinging. He's going to try and beat the piss out of his opponent okay? He will try and hit every part of their body, and even when he can't land on you, he will just go ahead and kick you in the nuts. An absolutely Chad move. Merab Dvalishvili, on the other hand, is just going to be spamming takedowns, constantly spamming takedowns. Doesn't get them all, but that doesn't matter because Merab is just going to keep coming at you like a little bloody machine, okay? Unfortunately, Merab, he was just knocked out, coming off a... What? Oh, this isn't Merab. Oh, it's the ghost of future Merab. Right. Anyway, either way, the ghost of future Merab, he's going to win, okay? Victor Henry, he's lost to 240-year-old before. It's a mid-striker versus a mid-grappler. The mid-grappler, the ghost of future Merab, is going to win. On to the next fight. Welterweights. Tim Means versus the absolute Chad, the Serbian Uros Medic. This fight is actually going to bang. I'm actually looking forward to this one, right? Purely because Uros Medic, he's happy to get into a scrap, and sort of so is Tim Means, right? Uros isn't 40 years old, which is excellent for a card like this. He's always trying to finish the fight. I think he's got something like 9 finishes or something like that. Uros is my lock of the week in this fight. You're done, Tim Means. You're done, mate. All right? Now, next pick. Jonathan Means. Next pick. Jonathan Pearce versus David Onama. Now, David Onama is quickly becoming one of my favorite fighters, right? He's a striker that goes super hard right from the bang, okay? Having said that, he does lack the wrestling. He's a young fighter that loves to strike, goes hard from the get-go. However, if we learn anything from the Nate the Train fight, is that his wrestling is not very good, unfortunately. But hey, you're going to be entertained, right? And this is the thing with him going in there against Jonathan Pearce. Jonathan Pearce has good wrestling. He's got good wrestling, and that will probably be his path to victory against David Onama. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be picking Jonathan Pearce here, but it hurts my heart because I really like Onama, and I hope that he wins this. So I'm going to be watching this fight, expecting Pearce to win. Pearce is my official pick, but I'm going to be wanting David Onama to win the entire time. So it's going to be another brain versus heart prediction here. And I know you guys say always pick with your heart, but sometimes you need to pick with your brain. I've already picked Uros Medic. So we've done a heartfelt pick. We're going with a brain pick here, and it's going to be Jonathan Pearce. The next fight on the card is just going to be absolutely terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Austin Lane is going to try and wrestle and out fat and just lean all over Jonita Dinez. Jonita Dinez. If Jonita doesn't get Jonita Dinez. If Jonita Dinez doesn't get an early finish, it's going to be 10 minutes off, boys. Load up some Call of Duty, go make a sandwich for the main event, crack open some extra beers, banter on a live chat. It's going to be 10 minutes off, okay? I'm not saying that Austin Lane is like a Curtis Blades level of wrestling. I just mean a sort of slow, sloppy, lean on them against the cage, go for a lazy single leg. You know, the perfect sort of WMMA level of wrestling. It's going to be Austin Lane via top pressure, grappling, and zero entertainment. Okay, the next fight, as I cover every single banger of a fight onto this fight card, is light heavyweight. Good God. This card. Light heavyweight, Ryan Spann taking on Wish.com's Anthony Smith, okay? Bogdan Guskov. Ryan Spann lost to Anthony Smith, so he's like, screw it, let's go again, see if I can win over Wish.com's Anthony Smith. In all seriousness, Ryan Spann's actually a pretty good fighter, when he chooses to be. Really, like his striking is there, his wrestling is there. It just depends on whether or not Spann chooses to bring his fight IQ into the ring with him. And when he does really well, right? So I'm hoping that after being on a 2-fight skid, he is going to bring that into the ring with him. Which actually, it sort of means, right, that this fight is going to be a banger. Because Duskov doesn't really take a backward step. He pushes the pace. He is, I mean, as much as light heavyweights can, but he pushes the pace to the best of his abilities, right? So he is not going to let Ryan Spann just walk all over him and get him out of there. It is going to be a bit of a back and forth, hard-hitting fight. And I do think that Duskov is going to be winning this one by a tough, close decision. We're probably going to argue about it for a little bit, at least until the main event starts, about who should have really won that fight. And then, because the fight doesn't really mean anything, none of us are going to pay attention to it ever again after that. But yeah, it's going to be a decision. Could be a fun fight. Sort of looking forward to that one, actually. Shouldn't have given it so much shit at the top. And now, speaking of giving fights absolute shit, on to the main event. Just a horrible main event, right? And not because of the fight itself. Yes, actually. Yeah, the fight itself is going to suck. Not because of the names of the fight. Look, the main event's not very good, okay? There's not really any title shot on the line. There's no name value, right? And to be more annoyed, this is your fault, Manel Cap. It's your fault, all right? Listen, I love Muay Thai. I've made that very clear. You can be a sick Muay Thai fighter. You can be an absolute chad on the microphone, but get your shit together, Manel Cap. There's no point being a fan of you if you can't fight, all right? Get a bag, get a broom, sweep all your shit up, get it together. Okay, mate? Right. Anyway, Nicolau versus Alex Perez. Not a feature fight of a fight night card. A main event. This is what's going to happen. Get ready. Mateus Nicolau is going to bore us to death for about 10 to 15 minutes of this 25-minute fight, while he dances around the outside of the cage and forces Alex Perez to wing leg kicks at him. Mateus has always been a very cautious fighter that looks for a counter shot, and he's just been KO'd. So expect extra caution from a historically cautious fighter. After about 10 or 15 minutes of Alex Perez not being able to land a leg kick, or not be able to land anything clean on Nicolau, he will lose concentration for a minute, at which point he will rush in and Nicolau will catch him and the fight will be over in what could arguably be an early stoppage. That's going to be this fight night. It's going to be absolutely horrible. Is it better than nothing? I guess it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. Goddamn. Who's your lock of the week? Who's your big underdog? Put it down there in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And of course, I will see you all in the next one.